Greetings everyone, my name is Raziel and today we're looking at Vheren Ashurhaddon. Vheren's case is an interesting one. On release he was pretty strong, not just boasting high initiative but also a cost reduction on his ability. Of course this couldn't last and after a couple of weeks Vheren was nerfed. No more high initiative and no more cost reduction. And after this nerf, Vheren more or less completely vanished from the game. I think I can count the amount of Vheren Ashurhaddon encounters on ranked I've had on one hand in the roughly 2 years since his nerf. This got me thinking, is Vheren actually bad now? So today we are going to take another look at Vheren Ashurhaddon and try to figure out whether this true son of Chthoniya still has what it takes to decimate the ranked ladder. This is the list. Since Vheren still has the passive ability to gain +1 attack for a turn when you trigger Speartip, we are focusing on aggro elements in this deck with a fair number of Speartip troops to ensure regular 3-attack warlord attacks. Since I have already made a video on Sons of Horus staples, I won't be going over the usual cards in here and instead focus on some of the Vheren specific as well as the neutral tech options. If you do want to read about all the cards, I recommend checking out the deck paste in the description. First, let's talk about the elephants in the room, Sorc and Samira Devian. Both of these cards are neutrals that may look a little out of place in a Sons of Horus deck. Sorc is merely a solid 3 energy troop with a good defensive trait that ensures he is oftentimes able to push for damage or trade into enemy troops, since he is immune to the most common way of dealing with early game troops, warlord attacks and abilities. As for Samira, she is just able to pump out so many bodies at once it is oftentimes not possible to get rid of all of them for the opponent, leading to a non-negligible amount of damage going towards the enemy warlord. Basically, she is a more offensive version of Pedestravian, trading the front line for a much lower cost. Yes, none of her spawns as well as herself are going to stick around for long, but even if she just spawns 2 guys, that's usually going to be enough to get something like 7 attack and 6 HP worth of stats for 3 energy, which as you can see is great value. Another thing to talk about is the Chthonian Wolf. This is a fairly rarely seen troop that on Speartip draws us another troop from the deck. As you can see, this deck doesn't really have any card draw other than this, so it's a great little consistency booster. Additionally, it's one more mid-game Speartip troop to trigger our passive with. The same is true for Haxor's squad, which is more or less just a solid 5 energy body with Speartip to trigger our passive with. And finally, we have Asmodeal's squad, which is simply meant to be a flank unit to take out something threatening in the mid-game. We switched away from her and towards Asmodeal because Asmodeal has better stats, not just higher attack, but also hitting the 3 HP benchmark, which makes it a better tempo drop if we don't need the flank. And that concludes the overview of all the non-staple cards. As mentioned before, if you want to read an analysis of all the cards, check out the deck paste in the description. That was it from me. Enjoy the games.
about victory, true victory. Our Legion! You're in my sights.
One never expects what's hidden in plain sight.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.